Welcome back to the D1 Coaches Spot. It's been a while, but we've been kind of busy. We went to South Africa. David had surgery, then the holidays. Now David is back into full season, so we're excited to be back here with you all. And we have an amazing guest today that, fun fact, I used to run into him every time at the weight room at TCU. We were both working out. You know, we're coaches, but we like to stay fit. Once an athlete, always an athlete. And we had a lot of really cool conversations about recruiting athletes and beach volleyball and surfing, because that's one of his passions. Mm-hmm. So, David, why don't you tell us a little bit more about our guest today?
Yes, Coach Doug Meacham, a friend, a neighbor, former colleague. He ought to be from California, but I know you're from Texas. Mm-hmm. But I know you're a surfer, a golfer, so you're skateboarding around. I don't know how you're not from California.
Yeah, I don't know. I that's a good question. I don't
know. I always thought I just assumed you were from California.
Well, I've spent a lot of time out there, and went to Costa Rica a long time ago, and we kind of started at surfing and just kind of got into it. And really, it's just kind of it's not like I'm out there trying to be a good surfer. It's just the act of doing it and having fun. And the exercise is phenomenal. The people you meet, and I don't know, it's just fun and healthy and feels good. It kind of resets your mind and gets you kind of away from what you do every day, you know. So. Yeah,
my colleague Devin Bowen, he loves surfing, and he would go to Costa Rica with you anytime.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. The waves are, they're 4 and 5s. They're perfect. Anything over my head, I'm not going out there anyway. So the particular place we go to primarily it's more of a gentleman's surf game. It's not, you're not out there with a bunch of rippers that are 18 years old. So it's fun.
Yeah. Without the ethics of surfing. I know there's a lot of ethics in the surfing.
Yeah, there's a lot of crowds and a lot of, if you're not from there, type of vibe, you better watch out type business. So if you ever go to those places, you have to have somebody that's from there to kind of vouch for you, because there's only so many of the waves, and they don't like a crowd.
Yeah,
and
that's
if you're
at
a really good, the better the spot is, the more of that you have, the politics of it. So.
Yeah, you got to learn the local rules.
Yeah, you just can't drop in, and if it's a good spot, like if it's just normal, like if you're at Newport Pier or something, it doesn't matter. But like you go down the way to some of the better waves, you got to watch it.
Awesome. Well, I'm not a surfer, so I just hear stories from Devin. But Doug, you've had a hell of a career, 35 plus years in the coaching world, in college, just in college alone.
Yeah.
You were the head coach at Oklahoma State most recently.
Right.
You've been the offensive coordinator at TCU for many years, where you were part of that run to the national championship team. Houston Cougars, Jayhawks.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Man, we could talk for hours just about all the differences, and you've worked with so many different coaches and head coaches and different philosophies. What have you learned through that whole process?
Well, early on in your career, I think your coaching style changes as you go. I mean, you start off being this dictator, this it's my way or the highway type mentality as a younger guy, trying to prove yourself, and the pressures of trying to command your room or your players. And as you get older, you realize it's really not about that. It's more about relationships. It's more about figuring out how each kid learns, because you can't coach them all the same. And you're trying to figure out ways to maximize their abilities, however that may be. You know what I'm saying? So you turn into more of a teacher, more of a mentor than you are a yeller screamer guy. And I think that happens to most everybody. But it definitely, you definitely mellow, and you realize through the course of being this harsh person early on is that you don't necessarily get the most out of all of them. And that's what coaching is. It's trying to figure out how they learn and what pushes the button on each guy, because they're all different, as you know. So
correct.
You learn that through the course of time,
I love that.
We're going to talk a lot about, I know Majo wants to ask you a lot about you've been coaching over 3 decades and you've seen a lot of different generations come and go. And I wonder if that's not only something that you realize from being a younger coach to now more experienced coach, where you just talked about, but also the changes in who you have been coaching and just the society alone. Yeah,
we see it in across every sport. I think it's kind of the same.
In football, and probably I'm not really sure about the math on how many people transfer in some of the other sports, but in football, it's commonplace to see 2 and 3 and 4 schools under one guy's belt. I know basketball has that a lot. You can see that, and you look through the program, and it's like a Rolodex of schools underneath each kid. So, in knowing that each kid is a free agent every semester, and that they can just pick up and leave, it just doesn't work exactly how they saw it going. You definitely have to change your philosophy. You're just going to run them all out of there, so it's different for sure.
Or you're just paying more.
Yeah, there's that one. If they play into the money, that's a good thing,
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
It is hard, when you're saying that, you are a better coach down the road when you understand that it's about relationships, but then when the kids are transferring all the time, it's hard to build a relationship in a year or a semester.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, like even at Oklahoma State, like I remember I did a presser and they were asking me about a defensive player that hadn't been there long. I wasn't real sure his name, and they said his name, and I said, "Who's that?" And they had to tell me. Oh, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, 97. I got that guy.
Right.
It is crazy, man. Like, I know that some of these teams, like Iowa State, for example, and I don't know this to be factual, but they only have like 17 to 20 players existing on their last season's roster.
Wow.
Correct.
So you have 105. You slot it for 105 and divvy it up however you want to within that. I mean, I don't know how you do it and think you're going to hit on. I mean, what's the percentage of what you hit on? You know what I mean? What's acceptable? In baseball, batting 300 is acceptable. I don't know if that's the same for recruiting. I'd say you need to hit on at least half of them, but you don't get to spend much time recruiting them and getting to know them or really knowing anything other than what you see in Pro Football Focus, PFF, or any kind of software you may have to determine if they're good enough or not. That's why I think Indiana and Cignetti did such a good job. I know they have the money and stuff, but they picked the right guys. And I don't know how you do that when you have such a lump of people you have to bring in one time. And there's only one portal window now. There used to be 2, it was April and December. Well, now there's just one. And for guys that take new jobs and the roster disperses, how do you do that quick? I think you're just going to have to be accept the fact that you're going to miss on some guys. I don't understand how you do it.
Yeah. You? I mean, I guess every year is just different depending on how many positions you're looking for. You may not even know, even on your own team.
Yeah, you won't know until December.
Who's transferring, who's not.
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on behind the scenes.
Right. So it used to be you open up a conversation mid-season or during your open date. Hey, all right, who's graduating? That kind of conversation. How many do we have left? And you have a solid number, a tangible number. Well, we need to sign 24 guys. And we need to sign 5 O-linemen, a punter, 2 DBs. You go through it, and it's set in stone, and you gear your recruiting based on that number per position. Well, now it's just like you wake up one day, we need 60 guys. Well, how many did we lose at O-line? I mean, it's just really hard. I mean,
that's crazy.
And it's crazy.
And let alone sort of even worry. Do you even have time to worry about sort of the culture of the team and how these guys are going to get along? I bet it gets to a point where you're just trying to get positions and bodies.
What you have to worry about is the players that exist. Okay, because they did X, Y, Z for you the prior season, right? Then you bring in a guy, maybe pay him a little bit more. Yeah. Now, how do you handle that tension? You know what I mean? Say you have a running back that had 800 yards rushing. You brought in a guy that played at a D2 school that had 2,000 yards rushing. He gets an extra 100K. Well, you you want to say, well, how does they know what each other makes? It takes about 2 days, and everybody knows what you're making.
Yeah.
I always think about you guys, handling that as coaches. It's not, you have to worry about the technical, tactical, culture, all this kind of stuff. You're like a manager overall. Like, man, it's tough. It's tough. And how do you recruit kids that, you see the culture part of it, the mindset, if you don't have even time to talk to them and to really get to know them?
Yeah, I think it's critical to recruit guys in the portal, particularly, that a coach that's there to get the truth and get real factual information. I think sometimes we brush over that part of it, and you look at the film and, you talk to the agent, whoever's talking to the agent, and you get they paint this picture for you. All right. Well, now you talk to somebody that was with them. I think sometimes that gets skipped over a little bit. I think doing that kind of investigation helps you figure out if they're a kind of guy that wants to be there. Like, high school recruiting is different because the most important guy to talk to is the coach of the high school. No one else.
Right.
No one else. Not an agent, not mom, not the trainer. It's the coach. That's the guy to talk to. He's going to shoot you straight because he has a reputation to uphold. Some of these other people, they have other things on the table that they can get long-term out of the deal. Well, that guy's just in it for the kid, and he's going to tell you the truth, and he has his reputation. So you can find out what kind of kid he is in terms of how he fits in your program, in your culture, which I hate saying that word because it's overused, but
correct.
Your program.
Correct. Yeah, the program.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the transfer portal. You had to deal with it. You deal with it every year. More lately, you were at Oklahoma State as a head coach.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about if there's a parent out there listening and they have a football or an athlete, what are some of the things that they must keep in mind about the portal and about recruiting in general as well?
Well, first I'd like to back up and let's go high school recruiting first. So you're a kid, or a parent, and you're going through the high school recruiting to a college. You got to understand first, from 5 years ago, 4 years ago, it's cut in half.
Yeah.
Your opportunities are cut in half.
Because of the portal.
In every sport, like you two.
Because of the portal. And maybe in some schools, I'm saying on average it's probably cut in half, but some schools it's worse than that, it's 75%. So your opportunities are limited. So you have to be very selective of how you go about and what you deem important in recruiting. Is it a 7-on-7 coach? Is it a trainer? Is it your high school coach? All right. Do you put all your eggs in the high school coach, or do you put it in some guy that's training you, or a 7-on-7, or all that stuff? So because of your limited amount of opportunities and the math behind it, you got to be very careful about how you approach it because it's very limited. And the one thing I urge parents to realize is just because your son doesn't sign with Notre Dame and Florida and Alabama off the jump, it's not a death sentence. Especially nowadays. It may have been 10 years ago. You're primarily stuck at a D2 school or because, you can't transfer, you can't leave. There's no options. But now that you're a free agent every semester, go somewhere small, light it up, and then go to Notre Dame. Just do that. Don't think because your son doesn't go to a helmet school or a P4 school you feel like you didn't hit the mark. You know what I mean? So
what would you recommend to a recruit, a high school recruit, a parent? Is it better to go to, let's just say Indiana because they just won the national championship. Do you go to Indiana and be the third string, second string, maybe do a red shirt freshman year and sort of develop under that system, blah, blah, blah? Or do you go to a smaller school and play right away? What would you say is the best for development?
Well, everybody's going to take the bigger, just naturally. Because if it don't work out there, you can always go back down and then back up again. That's happened. Chandler Morris, he was at OU, TCU, then went to North Texas, lit it up, got paid pretty sizable lump of money to go to Virginia, and they played in the conference championship game.
Yeah,
there's that. It's not always just is that right or wrong? I don't love all that, but it's the way it is. So now you try to figure out how do I do it better, and what's the best course for me. But I think like with the high school recruiting, the most important things to me is your high school coach. Like college coaches in general, and I'm not speaking for everyone, don't necessarily talk to a 7-on-7 or a trainer or any of that stuff. And I think there's a lot of time and effort put in those areas thinking that that's the way to get through it. And it's actually your film and your high school coach. Mm-hmm. We rely on that more than anything. And what your high school coach says about you, because he's with you every day, all day. He sees you at school, sees you at practice, he knows your parents, he knows how you interact with your teammates. That's the most valuable source of information. So if your high school coach feels a certain way about you, that's probably what a college coach is going to see. And then the film, the big eye in the sky never lies. So what you put on tape, when that ball's not coming your way and you're loafing, that's not good. Because a lot of guys are going to watch how you respond and how you play, what's your intensity and your effort level when you're not exactly at the point of attack. Play hard all the time. If you get too tired, tap out of play, come back in. Show some good film. Highlight films are good for a college coach because what you'll typically do is you'll watch a highlight. Here's your best 30 plays that you got. If those are underwhelming, right, then that's probably it. But what a highlight film will do is validate a coach spending time to watch a game. Mm-hmm. So if you watch his highlight film, man, that looks pretty good. Then you're going to watch a game. Very seldom are you going to get college coaches are going to sign a kid just off a highlight film.
Right.
Because I could suit up right now, even though I'm 60, and probably put together 5 or 6 plays that look pretty good. You know? Yeah. You could. Now it's okay.
I don't know about that, but
maybe not.
Thank you. Yeah, I would have been a great slot receiver.
Right.
I'm telling you.
But your film.
Tennis.
No, I'm
football.
talking football.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking football. I'm an underrated football player.
But your film and
last 2 hits, but there have been 2 good hits.
Yeah. and the camps are good too. Yeah. Like if it's mega camps where there's a bunch of colleges there, I recommend that avenue. Sometimes you just go to a university's camp. They're the only school there. I think that narrows it down a little bit. And they probably already have their 10 or 15 guys they're looking at anyway. The other 400 people they're not even looking at. There's not a whole lot of surprises because of all the software out there in recruiting. Mm-hmm. I know for football.
Right.
And just, a mega camp with multiple schools attending, your high school coach, how you perform at your high school, and what you put on tape. Because typically what you see on film, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get that. If you feel like you write down intangibles, and that's where it's really, the measurables are one thing. It's the boxes that aren't measurable that where you really need to excel at.
Like what you were saying, that when you're not the targeted receiver, you still run
Do you
your
block?
Yeah.
Do you play hard without the ball?
Mm-hmm. Right.
As a receiver, that's critical to me.
Yeah. It is.
And just last night I'm watching Indiana. What's that receiver? Becker. I'm talking about blocking like that's all he's meant to be is a blocker when it's time to block.
Right.
And it's just that kind of effort and knowing that this guy's he's gonna jump on the grenade for the team. I mean, that's what you look for. That's what Indiana has more than most. Yeah, they had a little extra money, but they also have picked a bunch of guys that fit a lot of the intangibles you want it to be a team, which is rare nowadays. It's so individualized,
Yeah. I was wondering about that. Did they retain a lot of players from the years before?
Well, I know they hit on some of the JMU transfers. And, a lot of people think that's good. And I think that is good, but that doesn't happen very often. You're going to bring lower level players up and you hit on 8 or 10 of them. That doesn't happen very often. So they obviously had some good players at JMU when he came over, which is a tribute to Signetti also, to pick guys even at that level that could play. And how did they get them there and also could play in Power 4? They did a good job. But, for example, like
He
Lane
was
Kiffin.
at JMU as in James Madison?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was there first, and they signed, 8 or 10 of those kids his first year at Indiana and hit on most of them. And that doesn't happen very often, How does you playing at that level translate into P4? It's hard to determine that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew those players.
He knew them, and that's
them.
critical,
Yeah. So that's where you talk about, I love when you say, the relationships, the effort, when they're not, we say it in beach volleyball, when you're not touching the ball, what you're doing. Are you engaged? Are you loaded? Are you ready to all
body
that kind
language.
of stuff? Body language. Yeah. So those things are kind of like the things that you could tell. What are the things that you could tell this kid is gonna make it?
Mm-hmm.
What would you said some things, but if you could line them up, what would
some
they
of the
be?
characteristics?
Yeah, characteristics like traits.
I
of their technical skills.
I learned this a long time ago from an old coach who's probably about my age now.
Mm-hmm.
This was 25 years ago. He said, if you really kind of want to know the nuts and bolts of a player, what's inside, when you get his transcript, look at his attendance records.
Yeah. Does
he miss class every week? Does he miss a day here, a day there, a day there? Does he have good attendance?
That's great.
I mean, that's a start, And you just got to do your due diligence and talk to all the right people. It's just like when the pro scouts come to colleges, right? They've already seen all your film. They're trying to talk to the trainers. How is he in the training room?
Right.
Does he show up on time? Does he work at trying to get back healthy? They talk to the academic staff. How's he doing here? Does he actually study? Is he disruptive? They talk to the strength staff. How's he working? They talk to teammates if they can get their hands on them. They're trying to find out, if I'm going to invest this in you, I need to know everything there is to know.
Right. Is there time for that these days when you have the numbers that you need to?
Well, in the NFL there is, but in the pros or in college it's a little different. So that's again where I think what's paramount is talking to the coaches at the high school.
Yeah.
Keep it in the high school. They have rules, all right? They're making a salary. Their job depends on winning, and they're not going to feed you false information because their reputation is at stake. A lot of the other entities that are out there, and I'm not trying to pick on any of them because anytime a kid's off the couch not playing Call of Duty and he's out working out somehow or another, it's always good.
Right.
But in terms of what you should rely on in recruiting, you need to make sure your head coach has thinks about you some kind of way, and because that's where you really find it. And I'm talking about just high school recruiting, So,
what about the portal? What about the whole portal transferring?
So the thing about portal is the where high school guys are at a disadvantage is you're not sure how a high school guy will how it translates into college. Because in high school, you can just kind of show up and it just happens for you because you're just clearly better than everyone else. In college, you got to be dialed every day or you're going to get beat out. How a high school guy reacts to that, you never know.
Right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So the advantage of taking portal kids, you're taking a kid that's already been through how hard it is to leave home, mm-hmm. how hard it is to be with people you don't know, how hard it is to work out in college, off season, the rigors of the time spent on that sport annually.
Yeah.
You already know how to respond to it. All the hard stuff's behind them. They're up and running. What you see on film, again, is what you're going to get. So there's a huge advantage to taking a kid if all the boxes check.
Yes,
a high school kid can
be
he can be a 15-star,
mm-hmm.
and you still don't know.
Yeah.
You still don't know. So the advantage of taking a portal guy is that. And you get a guy that's plug and play. Because even a high school kid, what the tricky part, if you hit on a high school kid and he plays well, you better have enough money to keep him.
Yeah.
Or he's going to be gone. Whereas most time once a guy transfers once in football and he pans out, he's worth paying more. You know what you're getting, and they don't typically go again somewhere else. You know what I mean? So there's that factor in it too. But portal recruiting's, it's like I said, it's tough now. There's only one portal window. Two, you got to do a fabulous job of trying to check the boxes that aren't measurable again, like we said, mm-hmm. even with high school guys. But
yep.
you have to make some calls. listening to an agent's not going to help you figure out if you should take him or not. Because you're going to have to find some people that you're going to have to call back to maybe his high school coach. And you're going to have to dig just a little bit. If you're worried about the locker room and your teammates and how it all comes together, you're going to have to dig a little bit. The problem is the head coach is going to have to rely on the assistants and the recruiting staff to do that work and put that information at the head coach's feet and narrow it down fast. Because, as you know, in portal, by the time you find out about a guy, he's probably already got 10 offers.
Yeah.
So you got to move. You got to move pretty quick.
Yeah.
So that's where the software business that we have now. Like I mentioned, I'm not a spokesperson for PFF, but I mean, you can do a cut up in seconds on anything you want to see. Like anything, and their grades are being graded by that company, which it's not the end all be all if they grade you low or high, but it is a kind of a baseline. Like if a kid's getting graded in the 50s, it's probably not somebody you need to spend time watching. If a kid's graded upper 60s, 70s, it doesn't mean that's what he is, but it'll help trim guys and focus on.
It's like a filter.
Yeah,
right. It's a filter to say, okay, I'm going to look at it like a receiver per se. You're going to look at his targets, his effort, his drops, his touchdowns, his explosive plays, and you can just click on a button, watch it, and you can make determinations on guys heck of a lot quicker than you used to by having to just watch a highlight in a game.
That's awesome.
You can make any kind of cut up you want to. You make determinations, pick up the phone, make one call, a high school coach, maybe somebody you know on staff, and you got to kind of make a decision. So because it happens quick. But I just, again, go back to the high school parents and people like that. Don't get frustrated because your kid's going to, hypothetically a 1AA school.
Right.
Because you can go there and light it up, get a lot more opportunities, even a junior college. I think junior college recruiting is starting to peak because you're getting qualifiers that are there one semester,
Yeah, they're getting reps.
And you're going to get samples of what they can do. How many samples as a receiver? I got 60 catches. There's a lot of samples there to determine.
Yeah, and it's against that age group.
Right, and you go to Notre Dame, you get redshirted, you catch, you're on special teams, and there's no samples.
Right, right.
So playing time is good. You're kind of just there, and all of a sudden you're not doing well, and you're trimmed.
In tennis, that question, I don't know how it is in beach volleyball, Maho, but in tennis, there were years that we didn't have any sort of walk-ons or lower level kind of guys on the team because I would tell the parents, if I were you, I would go somewhere where I could play for a year or 2.
100%.
Then we can talk in 2 years if you improve. But you're going to improve more by competing and playing than you will by practicing with these better players because at the end of the day, it's still just practice. You get better under the lights, competing, playing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree with that too. It's
100%.
tough. It's tough because as a parent too, you're investing in your kid.
Mm-hmm.
You have this vision. The kid has this vision. Everything is like, and then they feel like it's failure, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You get the opportunity to play. You get the opportunity to understand how college athletics work, grow there, grow mature, and then play more. But yeah, for us, we've had issues too with some kids, right? No, I know I can make it, and parents like, no, she's good enough. She's good enough. Like, yes, she might, but we know the team that we're having,
Right.
and she would do way better, going to another school and starting there and making an impact right from the bat.
Right. I think parents can help and hurt. For all you parents out there, I think interacting with parents is good to see what kind of household and upbringing. That's more important than a parent telling me how good their son is.
100%.
I mean, of course you think your son's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's not unusual that a mom thinks their kid should.
And they should, right? If anybody should be your fan,
absolutely,
it should be your mom
absolutely.
and
But
dad,
on in terms of recruiting and having it being valid, it's more about seeing and trying to determine, again, those unmeasurable boxes and the home life and the instruction and just kind of what that kid goes home to every day helps you determine if that kid's a fit for you or not. And I think sometimes parents push so hard the other way, it actually hurts the kid
100%.
It actually hurts the kid because, okay, now we're going to deal with a helicopter parent.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're labeled helicopter parent, that kid's stock drops. And I don't think parents really realize that. And I understand what you're doing. You're pushing. It's your kid. You love him more than anything in the world. If you really want to love him, if you're asked questions, answer. And then just, don't push it to the point where you feel like that guy's going to be at practice every day asking why, because that actually hurts kids.
Yeah, I would always be very interested when speaking to the recruit and the parents, and I would ask the recruit a question.
Yeah.
And the parents would answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no.
Oh man.
Or they're on their phone scrolling the whole time, and you're trying to nail down your bullet points of why you should come to the school, and the kid's staring at his phone.
Yeah.
Parents, that's bad.
Yeah.
Tell your son, if it's a meeting with grown-ups, to put their phone down and let him answer questions and look you in the eye a little bit.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
I asked one time.
And I'm an old guy, so
I asked a recruit. This is on a visit. I asked him deep down, what do you love the most about tennis? And the dad answered the question.
No way.
How can you possibly do that?
No.
I just asked your son, deep down, why do you play tennis?
Yeah.
And the dad answered,
helicopter.
I'm like,
wow. Red flag.
So helicopter means a helicopter hovering over. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it's
and I understand it entirely, but
yeah,
it some of that you're actually hurting the kid.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I work with, now that I'm not in college athletics, I'm working with younger kids, younger athletes.
It's probably funner.
To prep them into college, right? Because you know how it is. You know what they need, right? Sometimes they think that what they need is to practice with the best players or to have this coach like to coach them. I'm like, no, it's like the little things, right? The accountability. Are you resilient? Are you showing up to everything that you do? Are you committed? Are you consistent? All that kind of stuff. And parents as well, right? Like you could see is like sometimes parents want it more than the kids.
Yeah.
The kids don't want it.
Yeah. Well, I'd say this 100%, and this is another lesson. If you have 2 or 3 kids that are very similar, okay, and the kid is on time, and there's a kid that does show up and work hard, has great body language, that's the kid you're going to take.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Because in everything, your kid's position, there's going to be 10 other people on their board that's just like him or her. What separates it? That stuff. That stuff separates it. And so as few of those type things, if you can check all the unmeasurable boxes, when it comes to being equal with 2 or 3 other players, you're going to go with that kid. So you just need to understand that. It's not all about what you put on the tape. It's a lot of the other stuff you don't measure. And when it's all equal, you're going to go with the one that has those boxes checked, And it's just the same thing like even physically, like track times for wide receivers. You got 5 wide receivers. They're very similar. Their statistics, their height, weight, everything's similar. One guy runs the 10.5 and one guy runs the 10.9. You're probably going to go with the 10.5 guy. And it's the same thing with the unmeasurable stuff.
Yeah. Plus what they, at the end of the day, we're all humans as coaches as well. Yeah. And who do you want to be with every day?
Absolutely.
Who do you want to deal with on a daily basis? It's that kid. So you told us the
Can I stop you with that?
Go ahead.
You one time said something to me that stuck with me I think it was you, that you said like, okay, so you're kind of like trying to recruit this kid, right? Mm-hmm. It's very good. But then at the end of the day, like you start knowing that it's not the best kid, doesn't show up, not a good attitude, blah, blah, blah. But then you're always like, okay, man, I don't want the other team to get the kid, right? Like, I don't want the other
You don't want to play against them.
Yeah, I don't play against them.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I think I know what you're going to
say. But David
say.
said, like, one time, would you rather play against this athlete once every season or play against him every day at practice? I'm like, oh, yeah.
And the amount of damage he'll do to the room with the other players.
100%.
Because now you're spending way more a percentage of your time on that kid and not the others. And they see he's getting more attention. Now they're sour.
Yeah, especially now with what's going on these days, right? With the money and how much is he getting paid and playing time.
It's hard, man. It's hard to do. It's hard to juggle all that. And I get it. If I'm a kid and I made X amount of plays and here comes somebody who's done nothing that makes more, hard to take. Yeah. As a kid. And, you got parents and agents and people. Why? Yeah. Well, then they transfer. It's like what Nick Saban said. There's ands and buts. You want it to be and, and he does this. And he does that, not, but.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This or but that. You want more ands than buts.
You told us about the do's, about the recommendations you're giving to parents with high school, especially high school age players. Rely on your head coach. Mm-hmm. Really think about other options, not the end of the world if you're not at Notre Dame on year one. Mm-hmm. What are some of the don'ts? You mentioned don't be on your phone in your meeting. I mean, it's amazing that you have to say it, but what are some other don'ts? You talked a little bit about 7-on-7. That's something that wasn't there. It wasn't there 30 years ago, correct? Mm-hmm. I feel like 7-on-7's got more popular.
It's very popular, and it's a great activity for exercise and things like that. It's a drill. It's a drill that people have used in practice for years. And I'm not trying to upset anyone who's making money on 7-on or that's what they do. I think anytime they're off the couch running routes or throwing passes, it's all good because it's better than the alternative. But I just think that most 7-on-7 tournaments, it's all man coverage, which means I have this guy, you have that guy, you have that guy. A zone coverage, everyone has an area they drop to, and there's schematics involved and things like that. So for a quarterback, if it's all man, you're primarily just going to throw it to your best player every time. Who's the best matchup? There's no read. You're just playing catch now.
Right.
So I don't feel like that's useful. And then receiver wise, you train, most of your training's done in the way that it's how to run routes versus man coverage. Well, in a real game, you see man coverage about 20, 30% of the time. You see zone coverage about 70% of the time.
Wow.
And there's not a whole lot of emphasis put on zone and real kind of schematics of football. So I just feel like for example, just for me, and I can't speak for everybody, I've never watched one single play of 7-on-7 to determine if I want to take a kid or not. Not one.
Right. Because it just doesn't relate. There's a lot of skills that they're not.
I appreciate the fact that they're out there, but it's if you're making a determination on a receiver or a quarterback based on 7-on, that's tough to do to me because there's no pass rush for the quarterback. There's no one in front of him. You don't see how he responds. Wide receivers, again, it's just primarily man technique, and if you're taller or whatever, you're just going to get more targets and more balls, and that's good. But I'm just saying in general, I'm sure there are some coaches that watch the 7-on. I haven't come across anybody that I know in college football that put a lot into 7-on-7.
I would think that's great information for the parents. What are some other don'ts that you would think in the whole high school development?
Well, it's just over in general, like even in be careful about transferring in high school. You know what I mean? Because like recruiters, you transfer 2 or 3 times in high school.
Yeah, that's
it's a red flag. I would say, and there's always reasons why to do that. And sometimes your parents get a job or blah blah blah. But particularly when you're transferring 2 or 3 times in the Metroplex, that's a red flag. Because what do you think that means when you get to college? First time you're third in line and stretch, what do you think he's thinking about doing?
Yeah, transferring.
Yeah. You're in stretch lines in year 3. You're already thinking about transfer. So I wish they'd come up with a way to let these kids go through the hard part without having an option early on.
Yeah.
And maybe push through some tough stuff because that's going to help you long term. It's going to help you after football or tennis or anything, volleyball. It's going to help you in life to be resilient. Tom Brady, right? He was, in 7th round?
Yes.
Greatest quarterback of all time. Yes. Well, why do you think? Is he talented? Physically, no. But that developed.
He's pretty good looking.
It developed, yeah, I guess so. If you say so. But and again, I'm not trashing on anything, 7-on or anything. I'm just saying be careful where you put all your eggs. Yeah.
I want to ask you before we run out of time. This is awesome, and it's sad that we don't. But I gotta ask you. We're talking about college athletics.
Yeah.
What about the whole degree? I mean, we don't even talk about like where is that in football?
Yeah,
Do people? Yeah, tell us. You talked about life. You talked about eventually you're not a football player anymore.
Yeah.
I read in some place that 1 out of 6 NFL football players file for bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
1 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stat I read.
Yeah.
And what about your degree? Where is that?
Yeah, I know. Gary Patterson said this, and I never thought of it this way. You make more from a degree in 40 years than you make in an NFL contract. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you need that degree to be able to get a job, a good job, and to elevate yourself. Now, there's people that survive and kill it without a degree, but in general, if you're a card player, you play percentages. You prefer to have a degree or a master's, and that's going to be what you lean on when things don't go well, because I can't imagine, like, you blow out a knee, you're on the street, you have no degree. Yeah. How hard is it to do anything with that? That's hard to do. So my encouragement is to get the degree, even if you have to come back and get it that way, because when it's done. And I know how it is. The young people, they don't think about long term very much.
Correct.
But it is important.
What's the average? Maybe it's by position, but the average lifespan in the NFL.
That's a good question. I don't know. I know that your first contract is a 4-year deal. It's a rookie contract. It'd be interesting to me to know how many guys sign a second contract. What's the percentage there? That's where your big money is, because your rookie contract's it's low end. Mm-hmm. That's why the draft's so important, because you can get a really good quarterback at a discount rate until he hits second contract. So I don't know the answer to that. I know this, like running backs in NFL, the life expectancy of an average running back is 3 years.
Wow.
And those guys get pounded.
Yeah,
because they're always trying to make a guy miss that's unblocked. You can't block them all. There's always a guy they have to make miss, and they get hit pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
or they're blocking too, right?
Yeah,
the
blocking whatever,
and,
protections, whatever. Yeah. But, like, that's a good question. I don't know. I would say the average guy that makes it in there, I don't know, it's probably pretty low. It's probably lower than you think.
Yeah.
Because it's a physical game now. I mean, it's it's not surfing. It's physical, and you got there's nowhere to hide. You got to be a tough person. Period. Mentally tough, physically tough, aggressive. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah,
so.
I think Mendoza, the quarterback for Indiana, he mentioned that in his right after the game.
Yeah, what a great kid, huh?
Oh man, he just comes across like the greatest kid.
And then he said the F word in his post game.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I was like, good, because he sounds so cookie cutter. Most of the time.
He's very he's
probably, and some of that's political too, because you're a general manager and you pick a first rounder. He's going to get first opportunity, second, third, fourth, fifth opportunity, because a sixth rounder beats out the first rounder. The general manager and his staff are fired.
Yeah, it makes him look bad.
That's why it's so hard to make it as a free agent in the NFL. You're proving everyone on that staff wrong because you beat out a draft pick. Right. And it's a bad reflection on them. It's really, it's astronomical to make the NFL 53 as a free agent, or even a low end guy. Because the low end guys, like seventh rounders, they don't get to pick where they go. A free agent, you're generally going to have 5, 6, 7, 8 offers, and you can pick the place that needs you the most. It's a little easier than maybe even a seventh rounder. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you can choose who needs what.
Yeah.
And you're picked in the seventh, that's where you're going.
Yeah, you can do your homework.
Yeah, but, I mean, they bring in 90 to camp. There'll be 50-some-odd of them that are veteran players that are from other teams or whatever. The 12, the 15 drafted guys, and then you got 20 or some-odd free agents, and they cut it to 53. And then there's only 47 guys that dress on game day. So there's 5 extras who are active on the roster, but they only dress 47. And then you have practice squad. So the numbers are, it's hard to even make it.
Yeah.
It's hard to make it. It's astronomical. And I think some of the perception out there is, I can do that. I can do this.
So more importance to getting that degree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that's how the brain works mostly at that age, right? Your brain is not fully developed. You think if something bad happens, it's never going to happen to you.
Right.
You know, we still think, you know, when we're older that nothing is going to happen to us, you know, so, but at that age, it's even worse. They think like, no, oh yeah, that can happen, but not to me.
Yeah. It's interesting when you got a ginormous amount of time, you know, when you're young, you always feel like you can recover, you can fix it, I can do this, I can do that. You know, when you get like my age, it's like I can't make mistakes almost, you know. So
What's next for you, Doug?
I don't know. I'm actively searching for a position, and I'm not sure if it's, you know, college or NFL, and we'll see how that goes. So it's just hard. You look at my line of work. There's 130 power Division I teams, and there's 10 full-time coaches. There's 1,300 coaches in the whole world. You know, it's not like you're an accountant. There's probably a million accountants.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's 1,300 jobs in the world. Yeah. It's hard to get them, and when you get them, you better do a good job because there's a million other guys that are trying to get what you got.
Yeah, and then you also, as you said, you have the coaches that are always kind of keep their staff or
I think that's good too. The continuity of that, like Signetti again, I bring him up because I think a lot of those guys have been with him over the years, and it just works. And at some point, with that kind of success, those guys are going to get their own gig.
Absolutely, that's the other part.
And then you move from within, and I think that's probably the route they go. I don't think they go just hire the flashy guy that did X, Y, Z at some other school. I think they develop and promote from within with their coaching staff.
Well, maybe you can be the first person to get the University of San Jose in Costa Rica football team and just
international football.
International football.
Or I'll just be a tennis coach.
University
and come help you.
Yeah, that's it gets a little windy there in Costa Rica. You know, a little altitude.
It does.
It is a fun place.
Their summers are pretty windy.
I've been there. I've been there. I took a group of players. They have a huge tournament in January, and we went whitewater rafting. We went to the volcano. We went to the waterfall. We did it all. It was not surfing.
Right.
That was not near San Jose, but we had a good time. Beautiful
place. It's just more natural. Like you go to certain places and there's a KFC around the corner and there's a Pilates class here. There's none of that there. It's just fun.
My favorite part of San Jose, you're gonna laugh, but so we drove to the whitewater rafting, and you're going sort of on this mountain, and just within the city of San Jose, the capital, there was something like 23 different micro weather systems just within that city because it all depends on what side of the mountain. And we're driving, and you would go through a spot where you feel like you're in West Texas, and then you come around the corner, and all of a sudden you're in Miami, you know, with pumped, and then you hit all the coffee, and then you hit somewhere you feel like you're in a swamp. It was incredible. It was awesome.
I'm going to be a tourism advocate for my country, Guatemala, because everyone talks about Costa Rica. And actually, Guatemala has way more stuff.
Yeah, beautiful women.
We have Atlanta. Yeah, thank you.
To start with.
Yeah, you chose well.
I did. I have a good taste.
Mayan heritage here. But volcanoes, active and non-active. Pacific, Atlantic.
Yeah. How's surfing? How about surfing?
Well, it's interesting. The beaches are black. They're dark, and it looks like the water is stained, and you walk in, it's super clear. It's just dark.
Yeah.
That sand.
The sand is dark. The volcanic sand. Yeah, that's true. But we have the Mayan ruins. We have, there's so much in Guatemala. Like coffee.
But is there surfing?
Everything. Yeah, there is.
There is?
There is surfing, yeah.
All down through that coast on the Pacific side. It's all surf.
Pacific is good.
So it's on the Pacific side.
Yeah, like Nicaragua, Costa Rica. Like all
Pacific side. The other side's more of your snorkeling, your scuba diving type
water.
thing. It's the family vacay thing. The other side's more of the action. You know?
It's cool. Yeah, we should just start like some surfing camps in Guatemala.
Well, Doug, thank you so much for coming out.
I have one thing though. The run, like, 2023 with TCU.
Yeah.
We were all there.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite game?
The favorite game of the season? The Baylor game, probably, because we made a field goal with the time runs.
He passed out.
He passed out.
I passed out on the UT.
Was it UT or Baylor?
Yeah, UT. I celebrated.
That was a tough game.
He celebrated so hard
when we finally broke that run and we scored the touchdown. late.
Yeah.
It was a very low
Kendra
scoring.
Miller, I think.
Yeah, it was a low scoring game, and I celebrated so hard I passed out. No, the Baylor the Baylor was the one about the field goal, right? Where you had to hurry up, put the ball down and kick it.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Well, I mean, interesting about that. So we had this word called bazooka, which meant hurry up field goal because there's no timeout, the clock's running. Mm-hmm. So you run a play, you can't call timeout. And it's the deal where the guys that exit field take a certain path and the guys coming on take a certain path so they don't run into each other.
Oh, wow.
So there's that mechanics.
Wow.
And there's this whole bazooka, boom, it just happens right now.
That's awesome.
And you practice it every week on your Thursday practices. The funny thing, if you ever watch that tape, watch who the last guy is to come out there.
The field goal kicker?
The kicker. He didn't even know.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
He's down there kicking in the net, and they're hollering bazooka, and everybody's out there, and the last day goes, oh, crap, and runs out there.
Oh, wow.
And it's probably why he made it.
Yeah,
you know
because
why?
he didn't have to overthink.
He didn't shoot a free throw. He shot a jump shot.
Yeah.
He set, boom, shot. Yeah, made it. He didn't think. He didn't get in his own way. Yeah. Probably helped.
Yeah.
But
100%.
amazing. And the only way, I was in the press box that year, and the only way I knew we made the thing from my angle was you could see all the TCU fans right behind the field goal post going bananas. When the ball's halfway in the air, I knew we'd made it because they were just unbelievable.
That was a good feeling. That's so much fun.
That was
cool.
TCU.
Cool.
That was fun.
Well, thank you so much.
He has a question for us.
Yeah, and the recruiting, like, how do you guys determine, do you rely on people or do y'all have software? How do you determine where to go? Because y'all are global, right? I mean, like, we recruit, if you're at TCU, it's Texas, Louisiana, a little bit of Oklahoma. You know, it's located because you don't want to fly over 10 schools to get a kid.
Right.
Because there's 10 other opportunities for him to go closer.
No, we go over the pond.
How do y'all do the recruiting? How do you dice it up? Are there areas? You have this country, you have that country? How's it work?
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about tennis. There are some similarities. The biggest advantage and the nicest thing about tennis is at the end of the day, you're playing each other. All these kids are playing each other.
Yeah.
So
is there big tournaments where they're all there?
Yeah,
together?
the Grand Slams. I mean, we go to the U.S. Open, we go to the Wimbledon, French Open, and they have a junior.
Can I go?
Yeah, you can.
I can. Yeah, can I help somehow?
Yes. Yeah, you would know. It is the same.
Carry water.
You'll know just by looking at the player.
Yeah.
That's the kid you want, and that's not. Everything you've mentioned.
Body language.
What are they doing when things are going their way? Yeah. Body language. You called
huge.
out. You called out one. You came to our Virginia match a couple of days ago when we got our butts kicked.
Yeah.
And you told me I let that player know. Hey,
I saw you do it.
This guy doesn't even know about anything about tennis.
Yeah.
But he could tell your body language was terrible, and he didn't like hearing it. But it's been a topic, so I did tell him. So it's the same thing, and also there is a rating. A world rating now. We have software. There's video. There's no secrets out there. You can't hide.
Do you break it down like serves or returns, or what's the percentage on returns? What's the percentage on first serve?
There's a ton of analytics.
Yeah.
I don't think you need just.
You don't need to overthink it that way. What's the end result?
Talk to the coaches.
Yeah. There you go.
At the end of the day, and I learned this from Coach Patterson, is that you don't recruit potential. You recruit guys that have proven that they know how to win.
Correct.
Because you can look like $1 million.
Yeah.
Is at 5-all in the tiebreaker, can you hit your spot on the serve?
Correct.
Can you make that return? Can you make that passing shot?
Right.
When the chips are down.
When it has to happen.
Yesterday we played Tennessee, and it came down to that in doubles.
Yeah.
And our guys handle it beautifully. So.
You know, the body language part, what I've told a guy or two here and there that has had that issue, it's like, so what you're doing here with this body language, you're just trying to make sure everybody knows you're unhappy. Is that really what you want? Because your opponent sees it.
Including your opponent, correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
100%.
not, to me, that turns into a whole, you're pouting.
Yeah.
And you're not 8 years old. You're just trying to make sure everybody knows you're not happy with the result. Does that do you any good? No.
No.
So why don't you go the other way? Because that's way better. But the natural instinct is to do that.
Yeah.
Human nature tells you to pout. Human nature tells you to complain. Human nature tells you it's never my fault. It's the guys that are really, really good that don't go.
Yeah, they train themselves to be sort of unhuman.
They're mentally
unordinary,
tough. Mentally
extraordinary.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because the default for humans and animals is hopelessness.
Yeah.
Until you see hope, there's like something, but there's some exceptions, right? That are the ones that we want to recruit.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
they are always have,
Yeah.
that hope, that fire is like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this. And also like the body language thing is like you want to have everyone know that you care. So
Yeah.
you're like doing all this kind of stuff. It's like we all know that you care.
Yeah.
You spend all your days, all your like how many years of your life doing it. You do care. You don't have to show it here that you care.
Yeah.
Just
absolutely.
keep playing, right?
Just keep playing, man.
Yeah.
Play the next play.
Mm-hmm.
Short-term memory, like the
Be a
Michael
goldfish.
Jordan.
Be a goldfish.
Be a goldfish. Yeah.
Yeah, the Michael Jordan 30 for 30. He said something. They were shooting half-court shots, and the guy in front of him made it. They're just messing around, and somebody says to him in that video, "Well, you're already thinking about it." He goes, "No, I just play in the moment." And they asked him a question about it. He said, "I don't think about what happened last time, and I don't think about what might happen this time. I just play in the moment." That's so critical
That's huge.
in everything.
Yeah.
So I think that was like really stuck with me.
No, it is.
Play in the
crucial.
moment. Play that play. Don't think about what happened or what might happen. Just play that play.
Yeah, my coach used to tell me he would ask me, what's the most important shot in tennis? And people would say the serve, and he said, no, the shot you're hitting right now. That's the most important.
No, it is.
And then I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like in football. You say, what's the most important game? You say, it's the next one.
Yeah. Or the one you're
Doesn't
playing.
matter who it is or
Yeah.
where it is.
Yeah.
It's the next one.
Yeah, or the one you're playing right in that moment.
Yeah.
You're in the middle
The
of
one
the
you're
game.
playing
This
right
one.
now.
This is the most important game right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
But what about the next
Everything.
one?
Yeah.
So,
Everything.
And again, I don't have all the answers. I'm just like, some of the things I'm mentioning is just kind of my opinion on stuff. And right or wrong, to the people out there, just know that I may not be right, but that's just kind of, with my experience, is how I feel about some of this stuff.
yeah, it's 35 years.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Different players, different systems, different. It doesn't matter. It always
Yeah.
comes down to that.
Yeah,
To those skills, those personal skills that the kids have and their habits, and who they are when things aren't going well, the
Correct.
character and all that.
yeah.
So
That's where you find out what they're made of
Yep.
when it's not going correct. Sometimes success, I learned this from Gary too, success sometimes people handle worse than failure.
Yeah.
correct.
True.
Because that's
Correct.
human nature too. You've had some success, or 10 people tell you how great you are. Pretty soon you start thinking you're pretty great.
I know.
It's
Wait,
hard,
wait,
and
wait.
it's hard not to.
And
When-
you think it because you're great, you're having the results, but actually you're having the results because you're putting the effort and you're being in the moment.
When we won the national championship in 2024, the Virginia coach I'm good friends with, he had won it twice, and he called me. He said, "Hey, everybody's gonna start telling you how good you are and what a great coach is. Don't believe a word anybody ever says. Just keep doing, stay humble, keep doing what you're doing."
Yeah. It's like in my first year at TCU, we won the Big 12, and it was a lot of, pats on the back and whatnot. And pretty soon you start thinking, man, I'm kind of got it figured out. And actually, you don't. You had good players.
nothing.
You had really good players.
Yeah, I always.
And I
do.
didn't recruit any of them. So
Yeah. You're only as good as your players. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Doug.
you.
Majo, anything you want to add before
No,
we?
this was awesome. Thank
it's awesome.
you.
Yeah.
We'll see you around.
Yeah.
Right?
See you around the neighborhood for
around.
sure.
Yeah, we'll see you skating around.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
And with that, from the courts.
To the sand. This is D1 Coach's Spot. See you in the next set. And remember to subscribe and follow us and share.
Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Thank you, Doug.